You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
We'll have a lot of fun today. I have two stories that have had, it's almost like, Jeff, and I'll tell you this in a few moments, my own personal plague, which has been happening. And I'll tell you, and you'll be horrified and feel saddened for me and my family. But that's in a couple of moments. You know what? No Ryan. So here's what I'd like to do today. Let's open up. We have this thing called the Pulse Line. It's tremendously fun, and it's basically a number where you can call and just leave a message, whatever's on your mind. You know what, Dave? This is great. I'm excited for Week 5. I love the Jets. The Giants have me excited again. Odell Beckham. Whatever you want to say. 347-974-ESPN. 347-974-ESPN. 5 minutes from right now, the best one, we will go to the Pulse Line. We will bring it up, and we will entertain ourselves with the best message on the Pulse Line. All right, I want to get into the Yankees and Mets a moment, but let's start out with the Jets. Now, the Jets, everyone was all hot and heavy for the Jets this offseason, right? Their front seven's going to be so good. Their offensive line is the equal or better than what it's been. And this is a team clearly heading in the right direction. Well, you know what? I've heard the schedule is too tough. I've heard the opposing quarterbacks are too good. I've heard it's John Idzik's fault. I've heard it's Rex Ryan's fault. I've heard it's Geno Smith's fault. I'm not looking to place blame on anybody. If I'm a Jets fan, all I'm looking to do is get wins. Now, you're 1-3. Now, the best thing about it is you're 1-3 in a division that stinks. Let's be honest. And this just shows you how crazy it is in the NFL. We have absolutely no idea. We have no idea. We came into the season thinking the NFC East was going to stink. It looks a lot better than we thought. We came into the season thinking the NFC South was going to be very good. It looks like it's mediocre at best. We came into the season thinking the AFC East was going to be very good with the Patriots. Look at that division right now. If you rank those teams as far as 1-32, you don't have a team in the top, 15 right now from the AFC East, do you? So the one thing about the Jets is they're not a very good football team right now. The good thing about the Jets is they're in a division where there isn't really a very good football team right now. So it's the bad and the good. But you look at the Giants last year, and the Giants were 0-6, and they got themselves to be 4-6, and they played, somewhat meaningful football. But you know what the bottom line is? It doesn't matter what the teams around you are like. You have to be serviceable. And now we get to the point where it's Rex and it's Idzik, and is there confrontation going on there? The thing that frustrates me about the Jets, okay, they ask us to go out and pay our hard-earned money, to go and to put our butts in the seats and to root for this team. And they have a certain expectation. You hear Rex call for it all the time, don't you? I expect loud fans. I expect fans to go out there and make noise and disrupt the opposing offense and all these things that Rex says all the time, right? How in the world are you $20 million under the cap? That, to me, is the one thing that I look at with the Jets. Look, it's hard to get a quarterback in this league. It is. They don't grow on trees. The great teams keep them. The good teams keep them. And it's the lesser teams, truthfully, that look to try and cobble together something at the quarterback position. So you look at this team right now. It's hard to have a good quarterback if you don't have one. You're not going to sign one in free agency. You have to draft it. So did they make a mistake with Geno? We don't know. And we don't know right now. Now, I've seen nothing to tell me that he's a really big-time player, but we can't sit here having watched him start 20 games in this league and make that determination. But what frustrates me is the Jets always tell us we have a certain expectation for our fan base to be there, to be loud, to support us. Well, where's the expectation from you? I know you want to save money to sign Muhammad Wilkerson to a long-term deal. How do you have $20 million? How do you have $20 million under the cap? And your big offseason acquisition in the defensive backfield was Dimitri Patterson, who just vanished for a preseason game? Doesn't work for me. I can't imagine it works for you. And then you start to get to the questions of, is there some kind of a sense of urgency? Well, of course there's a sense of urgency. You're 1-3 at San Diego, home to Denver, at New England. You can't see 1-6 staring you dead in the face and being what the Giants were last year? All right, Geno. Let's ask it. Is there a sense of urgency? If the answer is not yes, I go home.
Yes, very important. Our goals are still right out in front of us. We've still got an opportunity to, put ourselves in position in our conference, but it takes us, obviously going one game at a time, and this game is the most important one that we have this week. So we've got to focus in and make sure that we come out prepared on Sunday.
Most important game they have this week, I find to be an interesting thing to say, being it's the only game you have this week. There's so much pressure, and you think about this. The Jets have put so much pressure on this kid. Is it time to make a change? Does it matter to make a change? I don't know, but the leash has to be short. If you're Rex Ryan this week and Geno comes out and you're down 14-0, I think you have no choice but to make that change. And you know what? It doesn't mean you can't go back. For some reason, there's a feeling in this league where once you go ahead and make the change, you can't go back. Well, why can't you? Why can't you bring Michael Vick in, play in the second half of the game, play in the final 3 quarters of the game, and make a determination after that and still go back to Geno? Why can't Geno Smith ride the pine for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or the rest of the season and still potentially be the Jets starting quarterback next year? I don't have the answer for you right now, but the Jets better find an answer in a matter of moments. Did you hear Hal Steinbrenner? I'm a Mets fan, but to hear Hal Steinbrenner on the K Show yesterday made me think of how desperately I wish someone like that owned the New York Mets. We'll get to that in about 45 seconds. Jeff, shall we go to the Pulse line and see if anyone has left a message? Do you have something?
Yeah, go ahead. It's on your screen now. Go ahead and hit it.
Is it a good one?
I think there's a couple. We're just going to go to it like raw. I don't even listen to them. All
right, let's take a listen to the... You didn't listen at all?
I just saw that we had some messages. I thought it'd be fun.
Well, you better keep your finger on the dump button then.
I'll be ready.
This gets a little shady. All right, let's go and see if there's anything good on the Pulse line.
4 new messages. First new message.
Hey, Dave. Just got here to Syracuse. Give me a ring, and I'll hop on the show. 555. Thanks, bud. What's up, Dave? I'm at a payphone.
Is this Ryan?
These things still exist.
Sounds like Ryan.
Have a few minutes now. Can definitely hop on the show, so pick up. Pick up.
Oh,
Joe Panic
this seems
had
desperate.
3 hits last night in his first ever postseason game. I'm friends with him. Okay. I'll be at the hotel later. Okay, Dave. Well, I'm at the hotel and just in the bathroom, and thought I heard my phone ring, thinking it might have been you calling back, trying to get me on the air. You ever have that happen to you where you think your phone's ringing, you're not sure? I hope it was. I don't know if that happens to you, but anyway, we could talk about that and that experience. So give me a call. All right. I'll be waiting. Not cool, Dave. Not cool. At all.
That's pathetic. The guy goes up to Syracuse. He's calling Syracuse Louisville tomorrow, and he makes 4 or 5 calls to the Pulse line. These must have come in before we even opened up the Pulse line.
Did you not answer him? Have you not talked to him today or something? He seems upset.
He seems livid. I don't know. I got to be honest. Now, but you know what the funny thing about Ruocco is? 4 or 5 messages, right? And, of course, he had to get Joe Panic in there. Michael K., Don LaGreca, Mike Lubiga, nobody drops names more than Ryan Ruocco does. All right, 1-800-919-3776. We'll bring Ruocco in later on for our NFL picks because today's a Thursday, but for us, it's really like a football Friday. Jets on the road in San Diego, a team that is 3-1 and has the realistic possibility they could be 4-0. They were better than Arizona in that opening game. That's a very good football team. And you know what the Jets defense does? And we'll get to Steinbrenner in a moment. I'll wax poetic on how jealous I am. I promise you. You know what the Jets' issue is? Is that they hang their hat on, we can stop the run. They'd stop the run as well as any team in the NFL. You know what the problem is? Other teams pass the ball on the Jets. How do you stop Keenan Allen? Richard Sherman couldn't stop Keenan Allen. Is Antonio Allen going to be able to do that? I don't think so. I'm worried about this. Phil Rivers is a very good quarterback. This is a tough matchup. And then you have the Giants. So we'll get into the Giants a little bit later on during the course of the show. As a Giants fan, how quickly things have changed, huh? This was a team not even 2 weeks ago that was on the verge of the season ending and being incompetent in the NFL. And Eli was done, and Tom Coughlin had no idea how to coach in this league anymore. And all of a sudden, Coughlin gets it. Eli gets it. Beckham's now returning. Rashad Jennings looks legitimate. Things are changing and changing quickly for the New York Football Giants. 1-800-919-3776. Okay. I'm going to compose myself, and I'm going to take a little listen to what Hal Steinbrenner had to say, and we will hear his take on the Yankees and what he says to Yankees fans yesterday from the Michael Kay Show. Is it an apology? Well, it just might be. That's on you, Jeff. And now we will play it.
I apologize. We did not do the job this year, and we know what you expect of us, and we expect the same thing of ourselves. And we certainly did what we thought we could do in the off season to field a pretty good team come April 1st. But it didn't work out for reasons we've discussed, and we're going to get right back to work.
That's all I'm looking for. I'm a Mets fan. I mean, what more could you want as a Yankees fan? All you do is win. Like, a bad year for the Yankees is to win 84 games, right? You look at the Yankees this year, and this must have been as much struggle as you could possibly endure. But you know what? The presence of the Yankees have expectations where we go to the postseason, where we compete, where we are at that level. And the Mets, I mean, where are the Wilpons? What is the plan this offseason? They have $83 million in payroll. They're a small market team. They treat this club like the Rays, like the Oakland A's. It's embarrassing right now. How is this okay? You know what? It's not. I'm a Mets fan. I love this team. Yankee fans have no idea how spoiled they are. And I don't mean spoiled in a negative way. My point is this. If you're a Yankees fan, your whole life you've won. Your whole life you've succeeded. All you know is success. You're a Mets fan, all you know is the opposite. What's the opposite of success? Failure? You know what? It's been a long time. We live in a world where 10 of 30 teams make it to the postseason in Major League Baseball, and the Mets haven't been there in years now. It's an embarrassment, and there's no answers. This is what wouldn't you love Jeff Wilpon, Fred Wilpon, to stand in front of the microphone and say, listen, we're pleased with the progress we're making. We did it with no Harvey this year. We did it with a low payroll this year. We did it with no Parnell this year. We did it with a banged-up David Wright this year. We have a plan. We did it with $83 million payroll. We're going to go up to 110. We're not going to spend 140. We don't have to be the Red Sox. We don't have to be the Dodgers. We don't have to be the Angels. We don't have to be the Yankees. But we're going to go up to 110 or 115 and bring in at least one big-time free agent and make trades to make this team better. I know nothing about what the Mets plan to do this offseason, and it's very frustrating. And you know what, truthfully? It's very, very scary. A little more from Hal Steinbrenner from the Kay Show yesterday. What does he expect from A-Rod next year?
Well, I don't have an expectation. Look, he's working very hard as we speak. He always comes into camp fit, so we know that's going to be the case. But he's also the age that he's at with 2 operations in the hips and hasn't played baseball for over a year. So I don't think we can have any expectations. Let's just hope he's healthy, and let's try to put the past behind us. And if he's healthy, he can contribute.
Not about the past; it's about the future. And you know what? Let's be honest. Alex Rodriguez gives the Yankees a better chance to win if he's the third baseman or DH. He does. You look at this team, you look at how much they struggled, okay? At how much they struggled this year to hit the baseball. Alex Rodriguez is not better than some of the junk they put up. And can we stop with this? Can we please stop with, let's just put A-Rod at shortstop? He's 40 years old. What sense does it make to put him at shortstop? You know the last time he played shortstop? 10 years ago. We age. We get older. We're not capable of doing what we used to be able to do. It's time to move on from that ridiculous thought. 2 things for the Yankees. 2 things for A-Rod. 1, if he comes back and he's good, you will love him again. That's what we are. That's what we are in every aspect of our society. If you succeed, we love you. If you fail, we hate you or don't like you or dislike you or whatever the appropriate phrase may be. But if Alex comes back and hits 18 home runs and 85 RBIs and hits 275 and is better than what the Yankees had at third base and Chase Headley and whoever else they put there last season, people will be very, very pleased. And the other thing, it's going to put fans in the seats.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
No, Ruocco, just Rothenberg today. Bill Daughtry, the man that made. You know what the great thing about you, Bill?
Trade?
Well, yeah, it's a terrible trade. You know what the great thing about you is? Trade. You come in, you ask for the opinion. I made the trade. What do you think? I tell you it's horrendous, and now you're all defensive about it.
I'm telling you guys about it.
Well, I don't understand. You made a bad trade. People make bad.
Candelmo did the same thing.
Well, because he's right. It was a terrible trade.
I told you yesterday not to do it.
Let the people know.
Here's the deal.
Yeah, here's the deal.
Mm-hmm. I am 0-4 in a league.
Okay.
LaShawn McCoy has been traded from my team for Alfred Morris and Terrence Williams. Now, say the trade is bad if you want, but let me check. We're 0-4 with LaShawn McCoy. Now, I got a comparable running back. I get it.
It's not comparable.
Listen to me.
You're out of your mind.
Listen to me. I get it. LaShawn McCoy at the top of his game does so many more things than Alfred Morris. But who has more points right now?
You're 4 weeks into the season.
Who has more points right now? You didn't answer my question.
Alfred Morris.
Far and away.
Okay.
Has LaShawn McCoy even been to the end zone this year?
No, I don't believe so.
And how many touchdowns does Terrence Williams have?
4.
Okay. On an 0-4 team, I got 2 players who at least know what the end zone looks like.
You're on your way to a brutal season, my friend.
On my way?
Yeah.
We're having a brutal season.
Yeah.
This is a brutal season.
Terrence, Alfred Morris is like, I don't know, your 8th to 10th running back in fantasy football.
And right now, where's LaShawn McCoy ranked?
I'm not right now, but you're 4
Where
games
is he ranked
in.
right now, ESPN?
He's bad.
He's 28th.
28th. I'll make a little wager.
What's the wager?
I will bet you a lunch. That Alfred Morris has,
at the end of the season,
including what you have now and what McCoy has now.
Go ahead.
That LaShawn McCoy, in your standard scoring league,
will outscore Alfred Morris.
Yes. Lunch.
You got it.
Lunch.
Oh,
there you go. Bill Daughtry will take me out for a fine.
Ain't catching him.
And you have a big advantage. But, Bill, that is crazy.
No, it's not.
Oh, Jeff.
You're winless with the guy.
I don't care about winless.
If I go winless without the guy, what is the problem?
You must really like losing.
First of all, I go winless.
If you go winless in fantasy football, you should be one of those buffoons that is forced to get like a tattoo of a snake or something.
I have always had a winning record, and this is my first year in this particular league, which was a little different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my other league, I'm doing fine. But in this league, it's like, every week you got to scour to find somebody who's going to help me get a win. No, you're not going to win that way.
No, I will enjoy my lunch. I get a tweet already from 3 Petro says, McCoy may finish with more points than both Morris and Terrence Williams.
Petro will take you to lunch, too.
There you go. Petro, you come along for lunch with Bill and I. Jeff, would you not agree? I want to get into the Giants and the Jets. And
by the way, he loved this trade yesterday.
No, I didn't.
No, he did not.
I said he did not.
He's not dumb yet.
Yes, he did.
No, he did
he
not.
Loved it.
No, I didn't.
He did not love it. Nobody could have loved that trade. You know what you should have done? We had Eric. Here's the issue with you. I'm going to take umbrage with something you've done. We have Eric Carabell on, a fantasy genius.
Our guys drive me nuts.
A fantasy genius every single week. We had him on.
No. Stop.
Why didn't you ask me to ask him that question,
Stop,
Bill?
Because I asked him another question. And I didn't like the answer he gave to that question.
You are
but
miserable.
Tell the Peyton Manning story with Chris a couple of years ago. Almost made me run off the road.
You didn't want to start Peyton Manning. But it wasn't Carabell.
No, that was Chris.
I mean, well,
Bill must love losing. I guess that's what it is.
Now, Jeff, by the way, how are you? I'm worried for your well-being. Jeff is our resident Pirates fan. Pirates, Pirates, Steelers, Penguins. You are from Pittsburgh. How are you today? Like, are you feeling sick? I mean, what's going on?
I'm sad. I'm not very happy. I'll be honest with you.
Did you have Bill? I gave Jeff a hard time, and you may take Jeff's side because you think I'm crazy. But I asked Jeff before the game. Big game last night, yes?
Yes, it was.
I asked Jeff before the game. I said, "You feeling nervous?" And he looks at me like I have a second head coming out of my neck and says, "Why would I be nervous?" I said, "It's a big game. I would think that your day you'd get more progressively nervous as it goes on." He's like, "Dave, I'm not playing in the game. I don't get nervous in the game."
I talked the Penguin off the ledge yesterday because he was so concerned about Edmondson, Volquez.
Well, how did that work out?
As long as he doesn't walk guys, you're all right. Then he walks the bases loaded and puts it on the tee for Crawford.
But shouldn't you be, if your team is playing that magnitude of a game, shouldn't you be nervous? You should be nervous.
I'm not nervous because the Pittsburgh Pirates aren't paying me.
I don't have an impact. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and it happened, and it was awful. But I mean, I wasn't nervous about it.
It's ridiculous. It's not. You know what? You're telling me you don't have any impact on your teams. None.
No, you don't. I don't play for them.
No, he's not even in Pittsburgh.
Then why do we even watch? Why do
I
we
love
care?
them because
Why
I
do
want
we
them to do
couch?
well.
If you
I
don't
want
believe
them to
you
do
have no impact.
None.
I have zero impact.
Now, if you DVR the game, you're watching it on tape, then I'd agree with you. Then you have no impact.
What could
but
I
if you
possibly do from New York?
Vibes.
See, I agree with him.
Vibes.
Okay,
you know what?
Vibes.
He wore gold and black. You know,
Did I rep them?
pirate
I was
gear.
excited for them. I wanted them to win more than anything in the world. And you can see how sad I am today that they lost. But I didn't have an effect
It's
on
an
it.
embarrassment. The both of you guys. I mean, we work at a sports station. You should wear your fandom on your
Me and Ben
sleeve.
were going to brawl, man, because he just turned on me on this trade. He just flipped.
I said, don't do it.
Bill, I love you. There's very few people in the radio industry that I love more than you. I'm
flipped on me,
embarrassed
man.
for you
He flipped on
that
me.
such a smart
I'm not saying I did
football
it because
mind
of him, but
would make that.
You get out in public. Come on, don't let the light shine.
I said, don't do it.
He's flipping on me right now.
Well, you know what? That's something you guys can take care of off the air. Right now, I need to get into the Jets and the Giants a little bit. Jets heading in the wrong direction. I love these tweets I get. Gina Lloyd, right, who claims she doesn't hate me but tweets me very negative things. Here you go again, over-the-top Jet bashing, dripping with venom. All right, you got to stop this. It's a mess. They're 1-3. They beat the worst team in the NFL. Their defense can't stop anybody in a big spot. The quarterback situation is a disaster right now. I'm honest. People have an issue with honesty. When the Giants were 0-2 and it was all falling apart, was I dripping with venom or was I being honest? I was being honest. 1-800-919-3776. How can you not look at the Giants and say, you know what? I'm a little more excited than I was. They looked awful. I mean, just egregiously terrible in week 1. Week 2 looked a little bit better, right? Lost, but at least the offense looked like it was decent. I get tweets from people saying, well, in week 3 they beat an awful Texans team. And maybe they did, but you know what? Texans are still sitting here at 3-1. Texans still, the only loss they have is to the Giants. And then the Giants go on the road on a short week and put up 45 points against Washington. And I shouldn't be a little bit excited that things are heading in the right direction. If you were buying stock in the Jets or the Giants, would you possibly buy it in the Jets right now? And I said before the year started, I thought the Jets were the better team. But give me a break. Ash in New York. You're on Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPN New York. What's up, Ash?
Hey, nothing much. Listen, I just need to make a few comments on the Jets situation. Management is the process of working with and through others to accomplish a certain goal. With Geno Smith, he's a young and a new quarterback in the league, about a year and a half. He doesn't have much experience, but he doesn't have any type of receivers or tight ends to throw to. Now, for instance, if you take Brady and you put him onto the Jets, do you think Brady will be successful?
Yes.
So I think for the Jets situation, give Geno some tools to work with.
But I just give you an answer I don't think you were anticipating. I do. I think if you don't think if you put Brady on this team, they're at least 2-2, if not 3-1 right now. You don't think they beat the Bears in that game?
They probably would, but also it's the coaching and the calls that they're making. And you don't have any type of receivers for Brady to throw to if he's on the Jets.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm so sick of this. It's all the pieces around him. It's a part of it. I agree. But whose fault was it that they came out against the Bears and Geno Smith threw a screen pass and went the other way for a touchdown? Was that Rex's fault? No. Is that Morningwig's fault? No. Is that Chris Ivory's fault? No. That's Geno Smith's fault. That was a horrible pass. Whose fault is it that the Jets don't turn anybody over? All I have to hear is how tremendous the Jets' defense is. Well, did they give up a 98-yard drive against the Packers when they were up 21-3 at the end of the first half? They have given up huge, maybe not 21-6, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Maybe 21-9 even. I think it was 21-9. It was 21-16 at the half. That's not the point. The point is that this defense, which we are led to believe is so good, so often, seems to allow a lot of big plays in big spots. They can stop the run. There's no doubt about it. You have to stop the pass as well. So you tell me why. I want to talk about the Jets, and I want to continue to talk about the Giants. We're going to go behind enemy lines. We're going to do our picks. We have a lot to do. All right, we have to cram it into 62 minutes, which we like to think is the best 62 minutes of your day. By the way, San Francisco Giants, man, Jeff, they made your Pirates look horrendous. I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm not trying to be mean.
That was uncalled for.
I call it like I see it. Am I not the most honest sports talk host that you know?
You're one of the most honest people I know, not just a host.
If you came up to me and said, Dave, is this a good look? I'd give you the truth.
You would.
Because you know what?
You see as the truth, yes.
Well, that's true as well. But if I don't give you the truth, then what's it all matter, right? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. The Jets look awful. The Giants look better than they did in week 2, and they look to be heading in the right direction. Do the Jets look to be heading in the right direction? I don't know that you can say that. You tell me. If I said you can buy stock in the Jets or the Giants right now, you buy it in the Jets or you buy it in the Giants? If I said to you right now, Candelmo, $1,000, place it on the Jets or the Giants to go to the postseason, where are you putting it?
Giants.
There you go.
Had to think, but Giants.
1-800-919-3776. Is Candelmo a liar as well? No, he's a saddened Pirates fan the morning after.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
All right, let's get back into the Jets and the Giants, 1-800-919-3776. You know, it's funny, I get a tweet, and let me give credit or lack thereof to people that are due. Jimmy Casa, which I guess is Jimmy House, right? Jimmy House texts me, tweets me, and says, Giants have beaten 2 trash teams. And you know what? You could be right. I mean, Texans don't look like they're great, certainly. Redskins don't look like they're great, certainly. But isn't really, and I'm being serious, isn't everyone in essence a trash team in this league? I mean, there's 2 or 3 good teams. Tampa's trash. We'll see what Atlanta is. St. Louis is trash. Cleveland's trash. Tennessee's trash. Right? The Jets look to be trash. New England might be trash. The Redskins are trash. Dallas is probably close to trash. Chicago, Carolina, Minnesota. I mean, most of the teams are trash teams. That's why if you just win the games that you are expected to win and can steal 1 or 2 of those other games, you're going to wind up being really, really good in this league. All right, we had him back on maybe a month or 2 ago. Mark Schlereth, great. All right, you want to know what Ruocco thinks of Mark Schlereth?
Mark Schlereth is a much better-looking man.
Now, he has a little male crush on Mark Schlereth, but that's not the point. Schlereth was on with Lupica yesterday and gave his updated comments on Eric Decker, who he told Ruocco and I about a month ago that he just ripped him. Well, he still says he's got a lot of issues, although one thing he does feel badly about.
Right. Well, I think it's always funny how things come out sometimes, and it was really an argument from the standpoint of I was discussing the Jets as an offense in general, and Geno Smith actually, and the whole point was, as I was arguing with Dave Rothenberg, was on your guys' radio program there, right, or on your station there.
Yeah.
I was arguing with him like, what are you really going to find out about Geno Smith? I mean, you haven't surrounded him with great weapons. You know, you've got, a running game that's kind of all power. You don't have a tight end that's true kind of matchup threat guy. You don't have a number 1 receiver. You got a bunch of number 2s, maybe number 3s. And Dave was like, what do you mean we signed Eric Decker? And I was like, dude, he's not a number 1 receiver. I mean, I watched every play of every game for 4 years in Denver, you know. He's a number 2, or it wasn't even supposed to be, I said he was a marginal number 2, and it wasn't even supposed to be, it was fairly innocuous. And so he started arguing with me, which, you start arguing and you get your gander up a little bit. And then I probably said a few things that I probably shouldn't have, like, he's going to be whining and crying for flags and things like that. 14 years in this business, it's the only time I've ever called somebody and say, hey, listen, man, I apologize for that because, I don't apologize for calling you a number 2 receiver. I mean, that's what you are. But so that I won't apologize for. But, the whole whining and crying thing was more about me giving Dave Rothenberg grief.
You know what I love? I love the fact that Schlereth's been doing this for 14 years. Never once has he had to make the apologetic phone call. I'm able to induce that from him, to make him say things about Eric Decker, which truly he meant. He said he was whiny. He said he's at best a number 2 receiver, and he said he's not all that good. My point was this, and I still stand by it, is that Eric Decker is a huge improvement over what they had. Jace Amaro makes them better. I thought Chris Johnson would as well. I'm beginning to think that Chris Johnson will not. But Chris Ivory's a really, really good running back. 1-800-919-3776. Of course, Lupica coming up 1 o'clock today. Big guests. Big guests all over the place on the station today. Bud Selig joins Lupica at 1:15. Yankees closer David Robertson joins him at 2:15. And then on the K show, did you hear what Kay said about me yesterday, by the way, Jeff? Very uncalled for shots. That he never thinks about me outside the station, which I know for a fact is a lie. And I can prove it if I had to in a court of law. Bill Parcells, one of my favorite coaches ever, joins the K show with Don LaGreca and Ryan at 4. And Victor Cruz, who my son says should be known as Victory Cruz. That's very good, isn't it?
That is very well
maybe
done.
we should get that to Kay. Maybe Kay can pass
I like
that on.
that.
Because it technically wouldn't be Kay thinking about me in a non-work function anyhow.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
Back to Ruocco and Rothenberg.
There you go. It is Ruocco and Rothenberg. I do like that. Now, I have a story I want to tell in a moment. But first, I want to... It's a good story. You'll appreciate it.
I know it will.
Being that you know me and you adore what I am in life.
Right,
but first, let's bring someone in to defend you on the Maserati of Morris County phone line. Shall we do that? Asher in Jersey. You're on Ruocco and Rothenberg without Ruocco today. What's up, Asher?
What's going on, boys?
What's happening, man?
Listen, if Bill's 0-4 in the game, in the fantasy league,
yeah,
and you're giving me a guy who I have out for more, give me 15 points, they're going to lead on the running game in the Redskins, they're going to lean on it. The off receiver is Terrence Williams in Dallas, and they have a running game. They just went paper thin on the Eagles' offensive line. He wasn't giving you no yards when they had their O-lineman. Now he has no O-lineman. I'm laughing at the guy that took the trade for LaShawn McCoy.
And
here Bill goes. Now you got him all right.
Sproles is also vulturing some of McCoy's carries.
There you go. All right, well, that's Asher,
Asher.
with not the greatest insight into what Bill
Asher
did.
knows what's going on.
No, he has no idea. Why don't you just cut him? I mean, why don't you just cut LaShawn McCoy?
And then I get nothing for him?
Well, I don't
crazy?
know. All I know is I'm going to get a nice...
What do you tell me? Morris and Williams are nothing?
No, they're not nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to get a nice big burger with cheese and fries and enjoy your company when LaShawn McCoy goes running past Alfred Morris.
You're going to watch me eat a marvelous turkey and
Swiss?
pastrami
or
pumpernickel.
Maybe I'll take you to maybe the Carnegie Deli.
That's where we're going, baby.
Is that where we're going?
That's how we roll.
All right, I will go to the Carnegie Deli. You ready? You ready for my story?
Come on.
Ken Delma, you're going to love this story as well. This is how basically the plagues of my life happened this week. Okay? So I pick up my youngest at daycare on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We open the door to the house, and something is clearly off.
Uh-oh.
It stinks. So my 4-year-old turns to me and says, "Dad, it stinks." I said, "Yes, something is clearly wrong." So we start walking around the house looking for
the stench,
the odor. We walk into the kitchen. The dog has, I don't know what I can, pooped? Defecated? Pooped. I mean, Jeff, can I say pooped? Yes? All right. Well, the dog has bowelly released himself all over the kitchen.
Runny?
Alberto Salazar doesn't run like this, Bill.
Juicy just flowed.
It was so now my wife is not home. It's me and the 4-year-old and the dog. So she right outside. Like I kick her outside as quickly as you could possibly imagine.
Oh, poor baby.
He starts like yelling, "Clean it up! It stinks! It's terrible, Dad! Clean it up!" So I have to get down on hands and knees. I can't find the mop. I find this thing we have named Fabuloso. I don't know what that is.
It's the purple stuff.
It was honestly, of all the diapers I've ever changed in my life, this was worse 10 times.
Was the Fabuloso good though? Was it Fabuloso?
I don't know. All I know is that, and then I'm in the middle of cleaning, and it's not like in one dedicated spot. It's all over the kitchen, and my son says to me, "Hey, Daddy, I'm really hungry for dinner. Can you make me dinner?" I think, hungry for dinner? How could you be hungry for dinner?
He wasn't clean. It smells better, Dad. I can eat now.
It was one of the worst moments. So that's Tuesday.
Is the dog all right, by the way?
She seems fine, yes. Okay. Although I was not happy with her. Yesterday, I pick him up at daycare, and we're standing outside talking to a mother and another son, and all of a sudden, literally a swarm of bees comes upon us. A swarm. He starts screaming. The other family gets stung. This is a horror movie. I'm not even exaggerating. This is my own plague. We jump in the car. Bees follow us into the car. He's screaming. I'm taking his stuffed dog and swatting bees. He gets stung in the ear. It's swelling up. I bring him home. All me, no wife. So today, I'm going to be so unbelievably careful. When I leave here, when I go home, when I pick him up, I'm going to look both ways. I don't know. There could be a mudslide on my way.
I think you should wear a hazmat suit.
I'm scared.
At the very least.
He said. So I told him the other day when I'm cleaning up the poop or the whatever you want to call it. I said, I said, I might throw up. And he turns to me and goes, I'm scared. So that's my story of how things have not gone well for me.
Taking the stuffed dog, swatting the bees in the car. Were you driving while you were doing this?
No, but we had to panic and pull out. Honestly, it was a horror movie.
Did you think about just opening the window?
More bees would have flown in. There were hundreds of bees.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
Wow, what a pass! Brad Keselowski wins at Chicagoland. Joey Logano through to the next round of the checkered flag at Dover for Jeff Gordon. Welcome to the Contender Round. 12 nations battle it out, 3 races.
Kansas, Charlotte, Talladega.
We're talking chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Fate and skill will decide who moves forward.
4 will be eliminated, 8 will advance.
The first race in the Contender Round. 12 nations battle, 8 advance. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Kansas. Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Presented by Dodge.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. It's time for...
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
ESPN New York's NFL Picks Extravaganza.
Are you telling me that you bet on the fight in Rocky 3 and that you bet against Rocky?
Featuring the Survivor Challenge.
I am the smartest man alive!
All right, let's go to our picks. And why don't we go back to the pulse line, Jeff Campbell, and see if maybe Ryan Ruocco or anyone else has left a message to help us.
Idea.
You love that idea? I knew you would. Here we go.
Not that you care, Dave, but the audience might. Although you've probably turned them against me by now. Anyway, I feel like I should still give you my picks. So here they are, okay? The Giants giving away 4 points to Atlanta. I'll take Big Blue, even though it upsets me to know that'll make you happy, even though it'll also make me happy.
What a whine.
My happiness comes before your happiness. Giants giving away the 4 points against Atlanta. I'll say the Jets get throttled by San Diego. So, yeah, they're getting 7 points. But that doesn't mean they're going to win, right, Dave? San Diego's going to win by more than 7. Then my game of the week, your big idea for our show. Ooh, so creative. I'll take Cleveland getting 3 points against Tennessee. And finally, in our Survivor Challenge, in which you and I have to admit, have been in lockstep in, which I thought we were friends, but after this episode of you not answering my calls, who knows? I'm going to take the Thursday night team, Green Bay. I don't see them losing at home to the Vikings. I'll take the Packers. Who knows if you really wanted to hear this? Who knows if the audience still does after the way you've talked about me to them? But there are my picks.
What a baby. Mike Candelmo. Bill, have you ever heard anything? I mean, what a child.
That wasn't Ruocco. He didn't drop a name.
That's true. He should have said, me and Joe Panic will take these guys in our picks this week. All right, listen, I took the Jets the last 2 weeks. I can't do it again. Give me the Chargers. I'll lay the 7. I just think they're going to beat up the Jets, put up 27-plus points. I'll take the Giants. They've been playing better. Atlanta's all banged up. Give me the Giants minus 4.5. I will go with New England one last time and think that they, +1, get by Cincinnati. And I will agree with my good buddy, Ryan Ruocco. Give me Green Bay in the Survivor.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
Wow, what a pass! Brad Keselowski wins at Chicagoland. Joey Logano through to the next round of the checkered flag at Dover for Jeff Gordon. Welcome to the Contender Round. 12 nations battle it out, 3 races.
Kansas, Charlotte, Talladega.
We're talking chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Fate and skill will decide who moves forward.
4 will be eliminated, 8 will advance.
The first race in the Contender Round. 12 nations battle, 8 advance. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Kansas. Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Presented by Dodge.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. Behind enemy lines.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
San Diego Chargers.
Let's bring in Eric Williams, NFL Nation Chargers reporter. Can give us a little breakdown of what the Chargers are and what we can expect from the Jets to be able to do out there in San Diego. Eric, they made the postseason last year, very unexpected. They look very good again this year, 3-1. Their only loss could have very easily been a victory. How good is this Chargers team right now?
I think they're legitimate if they can stay healthy, and that's going to be the key. They had so many key injuries early in the season. Guys like Ryan Matthews are out, Manti Te'o, Melvin Ingram, one of their better pass rushers, Nick Hardwick, their best interior offensive lineman, is out for the season with a neck injury. Offensively, they're one of the best offenses in the NFL, and that's because of the quarterback that's leading them, Phillip Rivers. He's very prepared. Pre-snap, he knows where he's going to go with the football. He has a number of playmakers he can get the ball to. And even though they're not running the ball effectively, they're still able to put points on the board, and they're able to get out in front of teams. And so that's kind of been the key during this 3-game winning streak they've had.
Explain to me how the Jets, with a secondary that, is not very good, slows down Antonio Gates, Keenan Allen, Eddie Royal, and Phillip Rivers.
Well, I think you got to put 17 on his back. They got 14 sacks. I know it hasn't been the key to their success early. Teams have still been able to throw the football against them. But if you put Phillip Rivers under pressure, as they saw in the first game against Arizona, I think he'll struggle a little bit and kind of speed up that quarterback clock. That's going to be the key. We know they can stop the run. San Diego hasn't really been able to run the ball effectively, so they've just been throwing short passes in order to get the ball to their running back. So I think the key is going to be pass rush, getting to Phillip Rivers, making him uncomfortable, and see if you can make him throw a couple interceptions.
Let's look at the Chargers' defense real quickly. When you look at them, nothing wows you, but somehow every single week they play pretty well.
Yeah. They're better up front. They're better in getting after the quarterback, and that starts with Dwight Freeney. He's come back off a torn tendon that cut short his 2013 season, has 2 sacks, a number of pressures. He's been able to get to the quarterback off the edge. And then Corey Leggett's probably the best interior lineman that you've never heard of. He has 1.5 sacks for this team, is real active, and is a force to be reckoned with. You have to double-team him. So it starts up front. Brendan Flowers is playing at a Pro Bowl level again. Their free agent addition, and they drafted Jason Barrett in the first round, another guy that's sticky in coverage in the secondary. Eric Weddle is solidifies that back end, is kind of the guy that is the quarterback of that defense. And so they're just much more assignment sound than they were last year. They don't give up a lot of big plays, and they make you earn the points.
All right, Eric, thanks for taking us behind enemy lines, and it must be rough living out there in San Diego. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
Wow, what a pass! Brad Keselowski wins at Chicagoland. Joey Logano through to the next round of the checkered flag at Dover for Jeff Gordon. Welcome to the Contender Round.
12 nations battle it out, 3 races. Kansas, Charlotte, Talladega.
We're talking chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Fate and skill will decide who moves forward.
4 will be eliminated, 8 will advance.
The first race in the Contender Round. 12 nations battle, 8 advance. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Kansas. Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Presented by Dodge.